The false cause fallacy is almost like it's built into our psychology, the way that tend to be fooled by this. The pattern of a false cause goes something like this. Premise one is A occurred before B, so A caused B. Now, I think this is built into us. Actually, I don't know why it is, but it helps us get along. I think from the time we're very young, we start recognizing a correlation between our actions and what happens as a result of those actions. And all causation happens prior in time to its effect, so it's easy for us to start to just correlate things together as being causal just because it happened prior in time. There's some humorous examples of this. I remember seeing some Super Bowl commercials where a fan maybe went down to the basement, and while he was down in the basement, something good happened. So he felt like every time he walked into the basement, his team played well. So because something happened before something else, going in the basement must cause it to do well, or to have that effect. This is an extremely important fallacy to recognize, because it's really the heart of why we engage in a very rigorous process that we call the scientific method. Really, all of our attempts to really be careful in doing the scientific method are attempts to avoid the false cause fallacy. So that's why we account for variables, we have a control group, we do all those sorts of things to try to avoid the fact that just because something correlates, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a cause. Now, I've actually introduced a new term here, which is correlation, because there's another version of this fallacy which goes like this: A is correlated with B, maybe not being prior in time, but they go together, so therefore A causes B. And the idea is that, well, when we see these two things happening together, one must be the cause of the other. And I see this happen a lot. At least it's explained as this way a lot. People will look at some research and see two things correlating and assume that one thing is causing the other. But it's really simple to realize that, sometimes you keep seeing these two things together, so somebody says, oh, so therefore this must be causing this, when actually that may not be the case at all. Maybe there's this third thing out here, and every time it happens, it causes each of these, so they'll always appear together, even though one's not necessarily causing the other. So we want to be careful about this, and make sure that we do consider all the possible ways that maybe something could be occurring together without necessarily being a cause. Otherwise, we commit the false cause fallacy.